we'll have four amazing talks. The papers are amazing. I hope the talks will be too. Yeah, before I start ranting about the papers, I should say that I heard some rumors that it was maybe a little bit hard to recruit the session chairs. Let me tell you, it's super fun to rant about other people's papers. You can say whatever you want. So I hope next year the IDCS chair will have lots of volunteers. And even my tablet is so excited to do this. Okay, so the first paper about okay, it's a long title by Eugene Cohn and Grant Schoenbeck, and let me tell you about the PC members problem. You've all heard about PCMP. So you want to get reviews from reviewers. And the first thing you might try to do is trust the reviewers. They're nice people. They're in our community. They'll just be nice and write a good review. That might be what happened. Okay, then you want to do some mechanism design. And there's this agreement mechanism where you expect, you can tell, the good reviews if they agree with the other reviewers. But the problem with this mechanism, it has some very unfavorable equilibria. So you've all heard of the grade inflation problem in our schools. And other things that in 1995, 99.9% of Iraqi voters voted to keep Saddam Hussein in office. In 2002, apparently 100% of them voted for Saddam Hussein. So, I mean, some equilibria of this mechanism are not so great, but today you'll hear about this disagreement mechanism. So it has all these great properties. It is detail-free, focal, and small group. You'll hear more about that. I was really tempted to, it's very simple and cool, so I was really tempted to tell you what the mechanism is, but I don't want to spoil the talk. So I'll move on. Let me jump to the third talk, and I'll go back to the second later. So, okay. I wrote this slide a few days ago. I was really concerned with snow. Tomorrow, apparently, there's a rainstorm, so you should check the weather for that. It will be rain, but same idea. I want to know how much snow will fall tomorrow, and no one knows exactly. It's a random variable. But here's a mechanism for learning some information. I'll introduce a snow stock, and I'll sell it out here using the stage. And then you guys can trade it however you want, and I promise tomorrow to pay $1 for every inch of snow. And we expect that at the equilibrium price, the price of the stock will be approximately the expectation of this random variable. Now, what if I wanted to know the median instead? So that's the focus of this talk. I prepared this really complicated story about, this is how much snow, and I really care about this interval between my son not having daycare and my wife being able to go to work, but let's skip that. Let's go to the second, go back to the second talk. So now you sort of know what prediction markets are, and what you really want to know is how to beat the prediction markets. So here's how to do this in 3 steps. Alice makes some crazy bet that really throws off the market. And then Bob comes and bets on the wrong outcome. And now the market is at the wrong position and there is a lot of money to be made. And Alice comes back and takes advantage of this. And what you learn in this talk is how to find the best crazy bet strategy. And this is an infinite design space. It's not even clear that there exists a best strategy, but you'll see an FP test. Okay, last but definitely not least, on price versus quality. So I was preparing another funny slide, and then I read in some of the reviews, and I read this quote by one of the reviewers, and I thought I don't have anything much better to say about this paper. So it's thought-provoking paper on a really simple idea. So typically in mechanism design, we think have all these complicated formula, how to set prices and maybe do some randomized auction, blah, 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 blah. But what if you can also control the quality of the item you're selling? So we'll learn how to trade price and quality. How to combine them together. We'll also learn how to avoid tourist traps and how to make a near optimal pizza. And here I couldn't resist the pun of a near optimal pizza. Thanks and enjoy the session.